So guys, I'm back again. Welcome to episode 5 of the Ilovesesh podcast. I've got a big one today. I got Shenin and Amara. How you doing, bro?
Evening, fella.
Yeah, you know what? I've been waiting for this one, you know.
Well, I've been waiting to come in these bright lights, but didn't match up with the bags under my eyes, so I've had to just hide them today. But yeah, man.
You're a busy man, innit?
I am. I'm
Very
not gonna
busy.
lie. I don't know how comes the clubs have been shut for so long, but I'm still busy. But yeah,
Mate, I've seen a lot going on your side of things, mate. You know what I mean? I thought you was gonna postpone to next week, mate.
No, I gave you a little bit of notice, man. I didn't leave you that last little scheduling.
Yeah. But look, bro, appreciate it.
No, big up, man.
Look,
Big up.
man,
I've watched all your episodes. You know what? Even when your first one dropped, a couple of the people who sent it to me, I said they're my tight day ones. Afro, people like that, sent it to me and said, "Yes, my people." So okay, cool. Looked into it, okay, and yeah, man, rating it,
man,
definitely.
I appreciate it, man. Look, even when we've spoken all them times, you've just kept me motivated as well. You know what I mean? Obviously, as you know, I go to most of your all your raves. So I'm a fan. You know what I'm trying to say. So for you to tell me oh yeah, look, big up, keep going, that's motivation. You know what I'm trying to say. So look,
well, look, even with what you're doing, all of this, I mean, people can work out for themselves. This ain't no cheap setup. So for me, as someone that knows that, and obviously starting off my podcast and whatnot, all of this stuff, it's not like the money ain't rolling in. This is what man's doing for the love for the scene. So when I saw it, and like I said, a few of my day ones had sent it to me. So, oh yeah, the Sesh is my guys. Okay. And then obviously watched it and whatnot. And yeah, I've seen all of them. You know?
Yeah. I tried to catch up with you lot, innit? You know what I mean? Like I said, man.
You don't want to catch up with us, mate. We're whatless. We was meant to start our one bloody 2-3 years ago.
Okay, yeah, because I was even ask you, man. But nah, you lot, I think definitely a key holder. Is that a big statement?
Key holder?
Yeah, in the scene. I feel like was definitely one of the generals. Is that respectfully?
Generals.
Definitely.
It is. It just with me, I just music's just my life.
Yeah.
It never lets you down. So whatever path I've gone in, it's just always been there, you know. So whatever lane I'm in, and I've been in the house lane for quite a few years now. We just do it. Where, you know, if the money dries up, you just still crack on with it, like lockdown and whatnot. You just crack on, and it's just there. It's just my life, if I'm honest.
Yeah. How long have you been doing it for then, in the scene?
House scene.
Yeah.
So I started House Passion in 2012.
Oh, I thought you started signing first.
No, so I started House Passion in 2012. But prior to that, when I was doing more R&B and funky raves and stuff, I always had a house room. In my 2012 I started House Passion, but from 2010 I was embracing that whole sort of deep house thing that was coming in. So I might have a R&B and funky room in room 1. So, you know, clubs like in O2 and Ifbar and all. That's why I used to do
Ifbar, legendary.
Yeah. So with those places, but I'd always have your Radfords and your Carloses and all those and Kismet, etc. Still, you know, Kismet was doing deep house around them times. So anyway, I'd still put them. I'd still have a room for that, and I'd still do my little segment on the CD for house. But I wasn't DJing. I wasn't a house DJ.
Yeah.
I just liked it. You know what I mean? And when I've done my radio and things like that, I've always played house because I'm having a long show. But yeah, so officially I started House Passion in 2012.
Okay.
I did it in House and Terrace, which is now 338.
Oh, was that House and Terrace before?
Yeah, so that was House and Terrace. Yeah, Studio 338 used to be called House and Terrace. Obviously, it's changed a lot. So I started that, and then that's where it started rolling in the different brands. And I was doing both. I was doing different types of events, and then House thing kind of kicked off. Well, to start off with House Passion, I wasn't even DJing house. I was DJing under my old name in the R&B room 3. It's DJ Sneaky. That was my old name.
I'm gonna look that up.
Yeah, well, I've got rid of most traces.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But anyway, a lot of people know. I just been that's what I was doing. So when I first done House Passion, it took a year or two before I said, oh, I might as well try a little alias with my real name type of thing. Even if I get 1 or 2 bookings extra a month under my house name, why not? And then where the rave built up quite quickly, prominently, it was really successful, so did the DJ bookings, and then I had to kind of just stop. And then when I was doing the urban thing, I was doing at that time I was doing loads of stuff with people like Hanif, lots of concerts and things like that. And on the radio, I was interviewing lots of big artists with all the labels and stuff. But the house just took over, and I never looked back. Man. And the years just go, as you get older, the years just go fast, man.
Flying, innit?
Like the other day, it was 2015, literally.
Yeah, no, the house scene. I love the house scene at the minute. What is even your take on the house scene at the moment? Like, obviously, Corona's come, but before Corona, what was your take on it? Or what is your take on it now? Even when it opens back up, what do you think? How do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to get back to how it was before?
I just think if we just look at what we are kind of corner of the world, where we are in London, and obviously we get to go out and about a bit, but predominantly it's sort of London. The last few years have gone very fast, yeah. So to me, the sort of the bubble kind of burst, and it was very saturated and whatnot in about 2015 or so. Around about 2015, when the sort of UK rap started really getting prominent, with all the, Stormzy's and all of these guys and the Skeptas were getting big, and Drake was co-signing them. That's when there was a correlation of certain brands. So what you might not know, people might not really pay attention, because if you go to your raves are fine, but it's a lot of promoters started dropping out. So what was happening, say 2013, 14, even say 2012, 2014, people could just come up with a rave, booked lineups, just swivel in their chair, put it on Resident Advisor, and it's selling. Do you know what I mean? So what was happening is where the market got saturated, and now I'd imagine it'd be like anything, property or whatever it is, where everyone's trying it, and then it kind of, like I said, the labels were signing everything, like the majors, and everything was over to that. Yeah, it was a buzz. And then what happened? The kind of UK urban sort of the rappers and the MCs then started coming up and getting their come around, and then you started seeing all the big festivals like We Are putting in GRM stage. You see the Hideouts are booking Skepta and Stormzy, because it's the bums on seats. So for us, it's cool, because what we do is quite, not niche, but we've just always had our corner, which, you've gone into a bit with the other interviews, and I've gone into it. Maybe we'll touch on it, whatnot. But it really, a lot of people kind of dropped out. When the money wasn't easy, a lot of people dropped out, and not say the strong will survive, but those who are doing it more for the love and, like I said, built up the brand. So whatever it is you do to build up your brand, we're there. So and I think these last few years, say 2016 now, they have gone quite fast. So I just think, every year you get a new bunch of 18-year-olds who've been watching from outside. Yeah. As in online, all of the SoundClouds, Instagrams, watching how the thing, as soon as they get their ID, they're out, and it just keeps rolling. Everyone just goes through, and then what happens, you got a bunch of people who are like, this is a bit old for me, I'm going to come out, I'm start going out less, and it just goes round. Innit? Yeah, so lockdowns obviously put a kind of halt in that sort of circle of life, type of raving life, but we'll see what it is. We'll see what happens, man. We might as well try and be hopeful, because we don't have no control. So we might as well, if it does, things do happen, then why not?
We're just running with it, really. You know what, I always wanted to ask you, and I'm just jumping the gun now. Ibiza. Yeah. I go Ibiza every year. Yeah. And I always thought, how comes I don't see you lot out there as, I all think that I'll see your brand out there a lot. Yeah. I always thought, how come Shen's not out there? Or how comes AR's not out here? Or how comes S is not out here? Yeah, I know S is in Napa all the time or something like that. I'm thinking, how comes I don't see you and your movement and your brand in Ibiza? Is Ibiza political like that? I always wanted to ask somebody that,
Yeah, it's political. I mean, everywhere's political. But Ibiza is very much... With Ibiza, if you go to the other islands, you have the one strip. You go to Napa, you got their main strip. You go to Mali, you got the main strip. Ibiza is like London. So you go to Ibiza and you got Shenin,
Yes,
which is like the whatever part, like the cheesy West End part. Then you have like the Blue Marlin spot, which is like the upmarket West End spot. Then you have like obviously all the super clubs and it's a bit like you have to get cabs around the place, whereas in all them other places, so it's a much bigger thing, a bigger scale, and it's just you got a lot of Italians, you got a lot of
Ibiza, yeah,
like so. Ibiza's a lot of English, a lot of Spanish, a lot of Italians. I think they're the hub of the audience. So that's why some, the super bands. So Elro, which is a Spanish, Musicon, which is Italian, and it's just that sort of level. So in regards with the super clubs and how it works, I guess we found our little thing. I mean, I first DJ'd in Ibiza I think it was 2015.
Is it AR?
I think it was 2015 or 2014 for Audio Hall, and things have progressed. So so House of Silk did their first Ibiza in Eden it was 2019, and then they had more dates so they had the solo date. So Audio Hall was always there every year. House of Silk did their first event in 2019 with Garage Nation, so it was a link up, and then both of them had their own dates for 2020 regular. So you test the waters, you do one, you don't just some people go in there and try and do all sort of, like, that's crazy, because it also a lot of people you lose. It's big. You're competing with the big boys.
Yeah,
like you got Black
place,
Coffee, you got Elro. So if you want to come and do you got to kind of work with it. So for me, I've managed to do all right. Like 2019, I was probably there about 4 times.
Okay.
In the summer, so I'm there like 3-4 times, and it's sort of progressed. So I'm happy with it. In terms of like the international ventures, I'm lucky I get to go quite a few places. But I was starting my first international venture. I was supposed to do Malta.
Insomnia? Is it like Insomnia?
Yeah. So that was that was my first thing, and again it was like the venture came my way, and I looked at it and I thought, like with what we do, the politics in London and whatnot, it's just, like I said, you trying to go to somewhere like Ibiza it doesn't make sense, because it's all these brands that are tied in, that are all heavily linked with all the stuff that happens over here with all of the big sort of, not corporate, but you might as well say, we're like the independent promoters. So if we put the money we're putting on the line,
it's your own money, technically.
Yeah, obviously our own money, but even like the machine, so to say. I always make the analogy of like, you got the corner shop and then you got the Tesco Express. Like, people will come and support the corner shop, and then obviously what we offer is quite unique. You know what I mean? So it's like what you get in our corner shop, you can't get in certain other things. But the overpower, when you come and you say, all right, you're gonna put this super club on and put these, you know what I mean, these headliners and all these whatnot. So I think that's what it is. It's just understanding. You really got to understand the crowd and the market, and that's where a lot of people kind of go wrong and think, okay, cool. Like, I teach event management part time, yeah, and anyone can go and book things out, but it's not going to translate to ticket sales. So you build your thing, and it's just whatever it. But there is a lot for what we do in London and the numbers and whatnot. I guess there is a bit of a lack. Ibiza, there's a lot of politics, because there's also a class thing where they kind of frown upon a lot of things. So a lot of them super clubs, they'll frown upon like the Ocean Beach and the San Antonio, the English, like the Chavy and whatever. They don't want all this D squared and you know what I mean, all of that type of stuff. But we just, any chance I get, so I get to, promoters have gone out there and they do certain things on a smaller scale or on a bigger scale or whatnot, and it's worked. So big shouts out to everyone who's taking that risk, man.
So what about the Back to 2012? Is that yours?
Yeah, so Back to 2012. The idea was.
It's just an old school house, no?
Yeah, I mean, I heard Beefy talking about how much years of music it is, but to me, it's 2010 to 2014 is a core time. So 2012 was like all of the big Hot Creations tunes. Like that summer, it's mad because that summer I was actually in Malia for the whole summer after I'd done the first House Passion. But that was like that sort of peak there. All the labels that I was working with when I'm dealing with all the 50 Cents and the Rick Rosses and whatnot, they all just want house in 2012. So it was a build up because that sort of, you know, that Radford B3 thing and whatnot, the Avalon Aquarium and the Deep House thing, it was building from 2010. So that music, so for me, is like focusing on that period of music there. And again, as I said to you, with the ravers, you get people that are like, oh, it's obviously it's too young. It might be a bit more young and drug orientated and like, you know, that's how some people, I mean, for me, because I've just been doing raves my whole life, I'm just used to what the raving age group is. So they was like, all right, cool. So with the 2012 thing, it was like, cool. Now, some people in some of our raves, they play these 2012 tunes every week, as Beefy was telling you. Yeah. But to me, my idea on it, and when you listen, you know, I know he's checking out some of my mixes and stuff, like, my idea is there's so much music that don't get played from that. There was so much music that was coming. There's so much that don't get played. So with 2012, back to 2012, drawing for those ones, and even with the mixes, like drawing for those songs, like
that tune,
we can hear H to the Izzo and all that, like Jamie Jones stuff, but there's just still so much music. So it was to give an option for those people a bit older, and to do it like once or twice a year, so it's still special. But obviously there are
bits and bobs.
There's not similar events, but there's a different. You know, people like the deep house thing is people still kind of work with it, and you know,
that's just that.
Well, won't get too political or drinking the water today.
I was gonna say, so you're saying that like you teach as well. What are you doing, like DJ classes, or are you doing like charities, anything for the community?
Yeah.
Obviously, everything's a bit like shut down and stuff. But is there other things you got going on?
Yeah. So I kind of like, on my studio, so I used to rent this studio, and then the woman I rented it from said, okay, I know her through her daughter, and I was doing it, she has like a music charity, and she said, oh, do you want to come? So it started by me DJing at a few little community things they were doing, and doing a couple like, oh yeah, we got a little thing in the youth centre, you want to come do a couple lessons, and the kids, like, the people know who I am or whatnot, like, because them times there I wasn't doing house. And it was like I was kind of known on radio and whatnot. So anyway, whatnot. So I done that, and then when I started doing the house thing, she got a bit of funding and said, "Oh, if you want to do a little teaching course, we can get you to do a couple of bits." So I was like, "Cool, like teach at the studio, no problem." And then help subsidize that, or you know, and then it kind of just. So I've always sort of done it, and the way that the funding works, and when you're dealing with all these charities and stuff, like the people that I'm teaching, they're coming from some challenging backgrounds. So whether it's youth offending, leaving care, and I've been doing it for years, just a couple of days a week. It's in my studio, keeps me tries to keep the body clock a little bit routine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I've done that, and then some of them, a few of them will then come through. Some of them will do work experience with me, like in my raves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then some of them will even come and work for me, whether it's like, you know, like promotion, giving out the CDs or helping with the wristbands. So I've got quite a few permanent staff out of it. Okay. And people have even, some of them have like, a couple of my students have gone on to things like, working for like Live Nation and being really big event organisers, because it's actual qualification we're giving them and stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's all proper. It's all like, it's mad. It's all had to deal with Ofsted and whatnot. It's crazy. Proper. It's a bit, it is a lot
of recognition for that, isn't it?
Well, I'm teaching them what I do. So I get like, so it's rewarding, and the woman said the reason why these funders like it, because they like someone that's in the industry
already,
to see, okay, there is a chance that I could do this or whatnot, and there is work experience things and there's paths and whatnot. So it's been it's just worked with it. Where I don't have so much commitments, I don't have kids, I'm not married or nothing, I'm able to do that.
Yeah,
that's why I'm wearing the glasses, because it's just hours in a day. But with me, if there's something there, if I've got time, then I'll do it.
Running a bit, yeah.
You know
I can see you're hardworking, man. I see you're everywhere, mate.
No, don't know. Not since March 2020, mate.
Obviously, you know what I mean. We're keeping it professional.
But keep it. Yeah, I've tried to just keep busy, man. Definitely.
Yeah, man, I respect that. Even I saw that Complex. I was like, yeah, that's different. Have you been dealing with Complex for a long time?
No, to be fair, not really. But I know one of the sort of main guys there, big up JP, and he's always been a support of what we do. But his world is more complex. Like when you look at the sister, like Complex UK, you look at what Complex do. They're very heavily orientated in like the urban culture and whatnot. So in America, it's all the rappers and hair and whatnot. But he's very into the house scene and what we do in the house scene. So with during that whole the Black Lives Matter movement in the summer, he was quite instrumental in putting together the whole Blackout edition with Funk Butcher JP. So he with Mixmag and whatnot. So yeah, it's it was good. Like we got to just go there, sort of introduce ourselves, and I saw you Beefy mentioned it about some of these places giving us a bit of coverage now that they didn't before. Yeah. So
even what's your take on that? Because obviously I spoke to a couple of DJs and whatever, and they're saying that a couple of them have got phone calls saying, like we should have gave you recognition. We should why do you think that's happened all of a sudden though?
What happened was this underlying thing has been we touch it on our podcast, it's been there. It's like the elephant in the room from like the discrimination and whatnot. But what it is with the publications, which are like your Mix Mags, DJ Mags, Resident Advice, these are all the big things in the world of dance music and whatnot. I personally think they actually genuinely deeped it and felt bad, because the token thing of putting up a square, you go on my page, there's a Black Lives Matter square, but you see, I've been vocal about this. Like, that's what my background is. Like, my parents been fighting discrimination. Like, that's what I was raised on. Do you know what I mean? So they just basically said, like, you guys have been getting big numbers. You've been having the biggest, you've been having some of the biggest events in London, and it's not easy putting on events in London. If you go certain other places, only 1-2 nightclubs. You'd be there and there'd be like, 10 big clubs on, all playing some sort of house music or whatnot. And they go, you guys have done it. And a lot of people have come and gone. I think about some of the big brands when Audio Whorehouse of Silk, when we all started, like, that were getting through doors, whether it's the colour of their skin or what they're representing, and they're not even here now. Because I personally think they genuinely felt remorseful, because they don't need to do it. You can say whatnot, you don't need to do nothing. It's not government agency. And that's why I say that with the clubs, you got to be real out here. Like, the club is like someone's house. They've gone and spent whatever money it is on their venue, and as much as it's not right, we could be in every publication, we could be on, for whether it's the bloody OK magazine, GQ, it doesn't matter. It's up to the owner of the club whether they're gonna let you in to put in an event or to come into the venue. And it's not right, but that's why sometimes you have to be realistic in this. Same with like I told you, if I just thought, Ibiza do whatever, put everything on red and say, go out there, and then what happens? You know what I mean? Go bankrupt. Okay, so that's my take. No, that's my take on it. So it's been mentioned a lot, but I just genuinely, like I said, I think they did feel remorseful, because again, like, after I think I had the first 1 or 2, and I kind of just gave them because it was a lot of Zoom meetings and stuff. Like, it was all around that summer, 2020 summer, when I started talking to the others, I was like, cool. Like, it was a bit like getting repetitive now, but they were actually wanting. So I was like, no, like, cool. Like, it's good that we got this plan. Like, accept your apology. But it's like, no, like, I want you to, like, we want you to see, like, this ain't right, and we want to, and when we're telling them our plights, they were like, and I'm just saying they because it's the number, I'm not going to say this one from that publication or that one from this publication, but they really were like, wow, is it that deep? Like, they didn't understand how why certain doors ain't opening. But it's not about playing the violins.
Yeah.
We just crack on. But it is good that it is good to get certain coverage and whatnot, really.
But what's okay, cool. So they're technically apologizing. What options are they giving you guys any option like to say, okay, well, we're gonna put you on another pedestal, or are we gonna do? They just let you know that?
Because if you look at, for example, places like Mixmag and Resident Advisor. So Resident Advisor, it's where everyone goes to buy all their tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's been like they're very big in certain hubs, so they're available everywhere. But if you go like Brighton or Birmingham or whatnot, Resident Advisors, it's not that deep. But in places like London, Berlin, certain of their hubs around the world, like that's where you go
for your tickets
for electronic music. So whether it's techno, house, whatever sort of minimal whatnot, like it's all there, yeah. And you've got the like popular events, and everyone's doing their thing. And even in my recent podcast, we was talking about how even it's basically like Facebook, where
I saw that,
you have your own account things and whatnot. So it with us, we just go put our tickets on there. We see they've got all these different sort of like magazine features, but they're not reaching out to us. They're not. So we're just cracking on with it. I mean, certain things would be on there and I'd check it. I saw certain interviews like, even though, you know what Resident Advisors used to do? They used to do some good documentaries where they follow certain things and stuff like that, like, for YouTube.
Oh, did they? Yeah,
yeah, there's some good ones, man. There's some good ones. I even used to show the youths at the studio. So what they've done, so they saw the numbers we were getting. So, if I'm playing say House of Silk or Audio Hall, which might be the number one event that weekend, but they're not doing any coverage on it. Like they're not doing
that's
any.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, but now they're showing a bit like, and they've, and it's like I said, there's different things. So they've given with our podcast Blacklisted, they've given us like the news features and things like that, and so that's like an example of that. Yeah, and with the other platforms as well. So we just see what happens, really.
But your raves are always big, though.
Yeah, I mean, don't know about that, but the raves have generally been always successful, and the numbers have been there. But that's what it is. Like the numbers have been there, so I know that certain like a club or it could be a promoter or a club owner might think, oh, if I see, I might pigeonhole me. But I know from the ravers, that I could be on a certain flyer with a certain DJs who play a certain sound and be playing in a certain venue, and that will attract a certain audience that knows me. And then I might be on a different type of more commercial thing or different. So for me, I personally think people kind of know me from a few different walks of life. Yeah. But some people, they're just like, it's up to them what they want to do, and what can you say, really?
Even so, I've been getting a lot of people's been messaging me, asking me how comes you and AR split up. That they're saying that you two were the best combination together. They were saying.
Okay.
They were saying that you should make it happen, man, and get it back together. I think you were amazing together. Respectfully.
Oh, thank you, mate. I think we was
good team.
I think we was pretty amazing together as well.
You know what I mean? Great team. Obviously, you don't need to say too much on that, but is there anything
I definitely won't say too much on that.
No, respectfully.
But
everyone's like, bro, ask them to get back together. Ask them to get back together. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna mix it in soon. I'm not gonna throw it in there. But I think you lot together.
Yeah, I think we was a good combo. But what it is, there's just stuff that just things just don't work out, and it's just it was just.
Things happen. Obviously, things happen.
Basically, things happen. So it was one of those ones. It's a shame because before we was doing the music thing,
killing it.
Before we was doing the business side of things, we got that 2012 when I went to, because I've known, our parents live close to each other. I've known him for years, but in that 2012 season where I went to Malia, he was in Malia, so we were like there always together. So we kind of got really tight that year. whereas before it was more like a wagwan thing and whatnot. And then so then we was tight, and then he was playing at my parties, and then we kind of went into the DJing together. I'd already been doing the house raves and whatnot, and then just didn't work out. I had to just.
You still close friends and stuff though. You still get cracking everything.
Not really, to be fair, but not like that. It's
obviously,
you know it is like
separate ways,
you know it is. You see, with like what you do when you're doing business, or see with our world, because it's such a not social. It is a sociable job, but when there's not enough hours in a day, so like my old business partner before I was doing house music, he was like me and him was from Sandbox, so we was like from nursery, and we went into like college, uni, radio, music, raves together, whatnot. When me and him went our separate ways, it wasn't even so political. But when we went our separate ways and he stopped doing music, we didn't speak to each other for time, but not because of there was any animosity, but he's going and doing a different career. I'm not sleeping doing raves and trying to juggle. So you just don't really see each other, whatnot. And like lockdown kind of give me the give you the reality check that years, like I said, these last few years have gone past fast, and if you don't make that effort with friends and family and whatnot, like you'll regret it, you know. So so that's really, I mean, it just didn't work out, you know.
No, I respect that, man.
Yeah,
big up to him though, big up to AR, man. I respect that fully, man. What country you from?
Country I'm from, so.
What country you from?
What countries?
What countries are you from?
So my dad, who passed away, passed away last year. He was Indian.
Okay.
So I'm half Indian, and then my mum is quarter English and quarter Palestinian.
Okay.
So Arab. So that's where the last episode came from, because I was touching on a bit of banter.
Yeah.
So I was saying, okay, this might sound a bit controversial, but I am part Caucasian, and then obviously that's why Fabio said, all right, that's the name of the episode. I'm 25% Caucasian, but anyway, yeah, so that's what is funny, because I mean now I'm a mess, yeah, but who was it? I can't remember. He was telling me I look like some Taliban, but like the barbers ain't been open, innit? Like I've been trying to put out the word. I can't, I need to get my shape up. It's just been a myth, but people always wonder where I'm from, especially where like the different sort of scenes and whatnot. They just kind of assume and whatnot. So yeah,
I thought it was like Guyanese,
I've had
Trinidad.
It all, the Guyanese, Mauritian,
I probably thought you was Guyanese for some reason.
The Guyanese, and it's funny whenever I go on holiday, people always think I'm from that place.
Yeah.
Because I don't really go on holiday much now, but when I used to go on like breaks and stuff, if I'm in Cuba or I'm in Egypt or whatever, people would think I'm local. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Even like Portugal and stuff like that. But yeah, that's my little mix up there. So
what's your take on shuffling?
Shuffling. What I appreciate it, because the shuffling comes from with what we do. Like I was a part of what we. It was a part of what we do. I'm not into it personally, but like the people that do it, they've got love for the music. Do you know what I mean? Like the problem is when you've got raves that are packed, yeah, and you've got space issues and stuff like that. Yeah, it's like that. But with shuffling, like where the sort of class and the discrimination thing of it, that's why I'm like, you know what? You got to have solidarity with the shufflers, because they're getting the treatment what we get as DJs.
What discrimination though? What discrimination do they get?
Well,
I don't think they get any discrimination. I don't think they get discrimination at all.
Well, it was like the shuffling scene is like there was all these in that sort of period, 2013, 2012, 2013. It was big, like. There was big. I mean, look, I'm about the banter, yeah.
Yeah, I know you are. I know you are, boy. You love a meme, man.
Yeah, there was do you know that one? The one that I put. What one was it? What was it?
Hey, you got that on my notes.
Oh, you know when they done the Extinction Rebellion.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they done Extinction and they went to Canning Town.
Yeah.
So I put up a meme and I said, when a shuffler gets on stage, so it was like the guy was standing on top of the thing and the security dragging him off. That's like what it is. But yeah, so for me, it's dancing. People want to dance how they want to dance. But what it was is people was targeting and saying, okay, the whole anti-shuffling campaign. Clubs were saying no shuffling and.
Were they? I didn't know that.
Yeah, there was posters, there was pages, there was campaigns.
Wow.
These were big clubs and whatnot, and it's not that deep, like. But there was the undertones, like the whole classist. See, like with the whole racial, there's a crossover with the racial element and the class element. So it's like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to get too...
No, I know what you're saying.
So it's like, I've touched on it a lot, but so personally, you'll never see me shuffling and whatnot, but big up the shufflers, yeah, because they supported us, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's true. They've definitely been supporting the scene, 100%. So who are you listening to at the moment? What other DJs do you listen to at the moment? Like, who's coming up?
Who's coming up?
Yeah. Is there anyone you want to just like let us know about?
Yeah, well, it's a good question.
Because there's quite a lot of DJs I've come across within the last 6 months to a year.
Well, look, I've watched all your interviews, so it's funny. I see like where you was talking to Showtime, big up Showtime, yeah. We got our little running banter that when he's talking about the controller, yeah.
Yeah.
It's funny. The story is, yeah, that I was doing. You see, when we were able to have certain things, like you was allowed basically in the summer of 2020, you were allowed like 30 people at a gathering. That was like the legal thing. So I was doing a couple house parties and it was like at that limit and whatnot. So I was doing a barbecue once, yeah. And I put on a live stream there. So I've gone to do barbecue for this person or what, this private booking. So I was like, yeah, let me put up my Insta live, because it was in the times of the lives. They faded out a bit, like they weren't that popping, but I was like, let's put up a live. But I'm not bringing my big deck stand there. So I've brought over my little controller. And this controller, a lot of people have bought it. Why not? They want to learn to DJ, but it's like the entry level into it. So it's like it's a couple $100. So that's what I might use instead of bringing my big old stuff in the car. So I bought this thing. And then funny enough, AR coming, obviously he's coming and sending banter. He's seen, so I've set it up. The guy, the bar, the setup was nice in the garden, there, the bar and whatever. So I put out the live stream, said, yeah, we go live. So I think J-Bo was there, Jerome was there. So then I put the tripod thing with the camera, and then you've seen like I'm DJing on a little controller and a laptop, because like I said, and then AR goes in the comments, this is ridiculous. What are you DJing? What's that? What is that? A toaster? Yeah, saying because it's like the little thing. But he knows already that I teach, when I'm teaching the youths DJing, I teach them on all the different levels of equipment. So me, I've always been I've always been up to date with all of that stuff and whatnot. So obviously from that, we busting joke about the toaster. So then when certain things are, you're seeing that we call it the toaster, but obviously it's like people can teach. Technology's been there that you can. It's not vinyl, so people can teach themselves, and why not? But I think with the DJs, you know, it is this weird one, because I don't listen to a lot of house in my spare time, if I'm honest with you, in my car and stuff like that. But there are a lot of DJs that have done well. Obviously, you touched on the thing with J-Bo, who's obviously done really well in the last X amount of time, and getting his name out there. You've had Showtime. Both of them have carved themselves out a name to do bits and bobs. But let me have a think. Like, do you know what I rate? I rate when certain people see, like what you're doing here. I take how you're taking the branding seriously and whatnot. So I rate where certain people have taken their time. So I see like Jada, she, during that whole time when everyone was like locked into my streams, AR streams, GT and everyone's streams, whatnot, before everyone was in Pirate Studio, she was there just learning, booking out the hours, spending the money. I was like, you know what, I rate that, because you're just there doing it. So I just rate anyone who's doing it. I mean, I'm trying to just think who. Yeah,
Jada's right. No, me and Jada spoke a couple of times as well.
I'm thinking what mixes I listen to.
I suppose I have Jada down in the next 2 weeks.
Okay,
hopefully.
Jada's coming through. Yeah,
so big up Jada. Yeah, man, she's
Jada,
proper.
man.
I see her energy as well.
It's just good energy. Like, so big up people with the energy, because like Beefy was touching on, you know what, I keep saying Beefy because I watched his thing yesterday or whatever.
Beefy's a legend,
because his thing was on yesterday. But yeah, like, it's that whole thing of, sometimes you need to stay away. We call it the book, yeah? See Facebook, stay away from the book because that's where there's a lot of bad energy.
I don't even have it, you know?
Yeah, there you go. So, and even now, if you talk to like the young people, what do you mean Facebook, like whatever? But there's just always been a culture of like moany DJs and moany people. Why aren't I here? Why aren't I doing this? Like it's got like technology's there. I've been teaching DJing for so much years, like, and you don't need like like everyone can mix, like can learn to mix, like drive a car, yeah. But not everyone can be Lewis Hamilton or whatever. And also the selection is just as important. Understanding the crowd, these are all elements. But for people who take it, so that's where that whole sort of moany thing. So I guess I just like people that just got good energy, really. Like I've always had my team that I've been pushing, but like Hitty's done really well
he's done really well.
In the last... since lockdown with all the live streams, he just notorieties. There's certain tunes that he put out a couple years ago. They're everywhere.
Yeah, he's done really well.
So I'm happy for people like Hitty who've done it. Even people like Fabio. These are all like the team that we've been pushing, like on our side, like on all my parties, been pushing. They're good guys. They've been doing it, and like I'm happy that they've kind of got a bit more notoriety and got their following up. So I rate things like that.
So and I ask you, yeah. So what's your take on the fake followers, the fake everything, the fake lifestyle? Like I have to ask every DJ this when they come on. It's about this fake.
Well,
shit.
you kind of. It's mad because we started our podcast at a similar time, innit?
Yeah.
And those little things were popping up. I mean, this has been happening. Yeah, I was talking to someone in like that whole sort of record label world. Yeah, and I was catching up with them because they saw some of the banner and they're like, this has been happening and it's happening now. When you look at certain big YouTubers, like this whole fake like. There's people, even I watched a documentary about Trump, like the guy was saying they never bought no fake followers. Like it's up to that sort of level, it's a known thing. So we're talking like whatever level you're on. So to me, like if you're gonna be a criminal, yeah, like get away with it, innit? Like that's what I'm gonna say. So it's not no naming and shaming thing, but if you're gonna be a criminal, like if you're gonna do it, like you don't get your stripes from going jail, you get your stripes from going and doing the thing and getting away with it. So if someone, like I said about when I touched on it on my one and was saying that with a live stream, which is what because fake followers everywhere.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Bare DJs have got fake followers.
100%.
Yeah, and there's
100%, but I ain't.
If I ain't either.
You could go on my feed, you could go through everything, mate. Everything's organic, mate.
Don't worry, mate. We're not the feds here. Yeah? Don't worry, we ain't got Fabio's button. We don't believe your stories.
I need a button. Fab.
No, I think it's for me. Like I said when I was touching it on my one, when you get hype from people talking about like you're having a good live stream, so people engage with it, whatever your production quality, your mixing, your engagement, your presenting, it's like a radio show. So people go, yeah, we're gonna go and check out your thing. Like for example, when this week I've got I'm doing like Mark Radford's birthdays thing, yeah. So like people, I put the flyer out and people talk about, oh yeah, so you get the buzz. Yeah. So if you get the buzz and people are talking about it, and then there's someone adds more fake followers on top, I wouldn't do it. But if they do, then you know what? It looks like it's popping. Like you could come in, it don't matter what tune I'm playing. If you come in the room and it's like 20 people, yeah, and then someone else is in there. Like remember, a big part of that whole stream is about the communication, the chat room. That's a big part of it. Yeah, the Insta, it's a big part of it. Like the Insta, like I closed the Garage Nation thing the other day, and they done the 48-hour stream, but they weren't on Insta. They done a couple times on Insta, but they done it like they cleared all the copyright with the labels so they could stay on YouTube and Facebook. But first, but with a lot of the house scene, it's like Insta. And it's about that. So you had to be on, like I said, you don't have Facebook, but people are commenting on Facebook. So I think with if like people have done it and I haven't clocked because so much people are talking about this stream and you see all the comments and whatnot. So if you've done it like that, I think, well...
It's not really... It just doesn't add up, man. Like I've said, it don't really add up.
The thing is, see, like with the live streams, there's more thing. You look at someone's followers. Someone's got like 20k followers and they're only getting a few likes as well. I mean, that's even worse, really. And also, you can, when you got a business account, once you get to 10k, you can do swipe up. Yeah. But if you got fake followers, you can't do swipe up. So that's why some people, if you've got a certain amount. So what I think, if you got the 10k legit, and then you add more on top, you can do it. But I think if you bought them early, it's all technical.
Okay,
it's all technical.
I didn't know that. See?
It's all technical.
So
but it's fake it. Listen, it's fake it till you make it. In MySpace, YouTube, labels were putting out big money because big artists were buying MySpace and YouTube plays and all of that. Big money. And it's, so what can you say? And that was before like the whole proper social media thing. So they weren't less checking your mirrors, like checking, you know what I mean? It was easier to cover your tracks then. So yeah. So whoever does it, I mean, what can you say? It's ethically, it's not right to me.
That's crazy. Even like the last, like I seen a lot of sneak dissing on Instagram with DJs just saying a lot of stuff, man. Like, don't you think it makes the scene look a bit
bit of a laughing stock?
Yeah. Because even when I see stuff, I look at it, I think, imagine if I wasn't in the scene. I just think, forget this. I don't want to be a part of this. I see a lot of like just indirects left, right, and centre. I think it's...
Yeah, you know it is. There's a thin line between banter and you're overdoing it and whatnot, especially if you've got certain eyes on you and certain people are taking you seriously. You got to think. So even when we was touching on my episode about that whole sort of fake stuff, I weren't about naming nobody. Whatnot.
Yeah,
the timing of when I done the first actual... we done the first actual blacklisted episode, yeah. It was a timing of a certain altercation. So we had to just touch on it, yeah. But after that episode, I myself ain't named anyone like that in to do with the fake followers. But we touch on it and we talk about because like I said, you might go on Resident Advisor and see someone with 500 clicking 500 attending Resident Advisor, and you think they just bought 500 tickets. No, they got 500. They got 350 fake accounts clicking yes on it. Do you get what I'm saying? So we were touching on
stuff
informing you of how it works, because like the nightclubs, were paying their staff to sit down and just make fake accounts for Resident Advisor in the day. Like, go into a nightclub. That's what they were doing. Loads of the big nightclubs are doing it because then when they do their events, they all click attending and they all doing different IP addresses and all that. And they do that because then their thing looks, the perception, it looks busy. Like they've got busy, and then people will come and say, okay, well, that's got that much attending, let's go and do it. So my thing is more about informing, but it's a thin line because I love the banter. Like,
it's definitely banter though, 100%.
Well, look, it's banter, yeah, and I take my L's as well, innit? Not L's like any of that palaver, but I mean that I can laugh at myself, and I can take constructive criticism. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand that. You have to, if you don't learn from your mistakes, or just if you can't take on board things, then you know what I mean. That's how I look at things anyway. So
you're not ready to have no children yet, Shen? A wife, a girlfriend, gonna get married? Nah.
Yeah.
Why you having a puppy for? Why you having a?
No, it's just ready. No, you know what I do feel. Yeah.
You're ready. You're not ready, no?
Yeah, I mean, but you know,
it's the money first.
It's it's just I don't know what it is. You know, I was planning for kids in 2012. I was planning to have kids with my ex from back then. We were serious. We was moving out together. Blah blah blah. It didn't work out with us, but we'd been together for a couple of years. We planned kids. I just haven't got there. I think I did say that when I have my first child, I want to definitely make sure I at least got my first property and stuff. So at the moment, I'm sort of now looking at other properties and kind of getting into that market where the whole lockdown things happen. So looking into that thing, just when to be fair, I need to sort it out, man.
Yeah, no, there's no rush though. There's no rush.
Well, don't know about that. There is a little bit, man. So you know what? A lot of my good friends, like men, women, but especially like my guys that I've grown with, like they're inspirational fathers. You always see all the BS of like, oh yeah, like waste man, baby fathers and blah blah blah. But I see my like my day ones, yeah, and they're raising some they're raising some good children, and like it is, and like so. Yeah, I definitely do want to. I definitely will be looking in the next couple of years. If hopefully I will naturally meet someone who's
just natural vibes, yeah.
It'll just fit to that criteria, and they can put up with me.
Yeah. We see your hard work.
No, I just put up with the put
just
up
the
with
lifestyle, innit? Obviously,
not like lifestyle. Just put up with the kind of like you have to be quite organised.
Yeah, okay, I respect that. Yeah,
like like we made our time to come here. We need to like cross schedules because my working hours are different to the average. Yeah, that's all it is. So yeah.
Okay, I respect that. So what advice have you got for upcoming DJs? Have you got any advice? I feel like you're the right person to ask this as well.
Yeah, I mean, we've just do whatever it is. So what is it? You see, I think with DJs, yeah, and I think why some of us have done well or have lasted the test of time, when you're a promoter and a DJ, you see both sides of things. It's both sides of things because it's you got X amount of grands on the line and blah, blah, blah. So I'll say that all the different elements you can excel in. DJing, so your like ability, promotion of getting your name out there, production, obviously, which is a big part of house music, yeah. So all those elements, getting a buzz and then like putting on events, yeah. So that's actively showing a following you got. So all those elements, if you excel in and then do so with like lockdown, for example, I think people who do presenting, yeah, they might be able to kind of excel, because because the kind of streams and stuff, a lot of it is about the presenting element because it's like a show type of thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think just crack on with it. You've like Rome weren't built in a day. It doesn't matter it don't matter how good you are, just crack on with it and just try and get attention. The amount of DJs that have come to me for bookings, and I do put on a lot of DJs where I can at certain of, maybe not the House Passions and Asylums, but on certain of my other brands, I'll kind of put them through the ranks. But the amount of DJs that have asked me to book them, I've not been able to, but then I've come back to them once they've got their name out there.
And you said, okay.
And then I've booked them. And they might come to me and say, come on, like, I'll play for you for free. Everyone wants to play for free. Not say everyone, but obviously, like, that's, like, people just, please just put my name on the flyer. Like, I get it, because you want to get your name out there and promo and stuff like that. So I would rather not pay you for free, not get you to play for free. Do your thing. Maybe approach other promoters who are doing it a bit more small scale, get your name buzzing on that scene, not that scene, but like catch my attention, catch your attention, catch whoever's attention. So okay, then we got opportunity. Let's switch up our lineup in room 2. Let's give this guy a chance or this girl a chance and blah blah blah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's it really. Have your just persevere and, stuff like, your music, look at, there's so much music out there now because of the technology. It's easy. You can just make a beat on your laptop right there with headphones. You don't need nothing else. So there's loads of music all over the world. So try and find your branding, your identity is very important. You know what I mean?
Yeah, cool, man. I respect that, man. And look, man, I'm going to wrap it up, but thank you for coming.
Thank you, mate.
This one... Yeah, this is a big one, you know what I'm trying to say? And like I said, so even like quickly before we even go, because I was even thinking, how am I even going to approach Shen? But you know what? J-Bo, I was speaking to J-Bo off camera, he's like, look, but you have to ask a question. He said he asked a question, and look where he is now, you know what I'm trying to say? But he's like, look, Shen, good guy, good man, just message him. So I thought, you know what? Cool. As soon as I left J-Bo, message, and he's like, what's up? I thought, that's all you need to do sometimes. You just ask the question.
If you don't ask, you don't get. And you know what, big up J-Bo, because even where J-Bo, like, see where people see, wow, like J-Bo's in lots of different places and blah blah blah. J-Bo, like, if you know his story, people know J-Bo, they like J-Bo, he's been around. So now if he DJs, he can reflect that, and if he puts on an event or does whatever he does, he's gonna get feedback and whatnot. So same way, man. So yeah, big shouts out to J-Bo. Big up everyone who's been on the big up on the pod, and well done, mate. Like I said, mate, I know this.
Appreciate it.
I've got to go do some more recording now.
Yeah?
You know what I mean? Yeah. So just got to go crack on with it.
Look, I appreciate it, Shen. Yeah, and hopefully I could get you back in a couple. Yeah.
Definitely.
Right, mate.
Much
Appreciate
love.
it, mate. Sweet.
Cool.